Hello and welcome to the Daily Brown Bag. Today we're going to be talking about Amazon Vine and expert reviews. I'm Chad Hill and I'm joined by Adam Stetzer.
Yeah, good morning, Chad. So we're diving into this topic of online reviews and really understanding where they come from and are people getting incentives to write them, and particularly this Amazon Vines program. And we've talked before about the crackdown we saw a few months ago where the New York Attorney General's office was going after fake reviews. And we also have seen people out on the internet, getting goods in exchange for positive reviews. This news story was on NPR's Planet Money, and they were talking about the Amazon program for their top reviewers. They call it their Vine program, and these people do write a lot of reviews. And it made us want to cover this again today because reviews are pretty important. I mean, 83% of consumers say they use an online review to help them in a purchasing decision. That's a pretty high number. 63% of consumers say they are more likely to purchase from a site that provides ratings and reviews. Zendesk did a study recently and said 90% of purchases were influenced by a positive review and 86% were influenced by a negative review. So this issue of trust on the internet, and should you trust reviews and should you trust what other people are saying, is front and center here when you start to see programs like Amazon Vine and the recent discussion of what's happening on Yelp and are people getting incentives. And really, I think the issue, Chad, I guess, is what are people on the internet supposed to think about this, and can they trust some of the things that they're seeing in such a new medium? You have to remember the internet is brand new. So I guess there's a bit of controversy here.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think one of Amazon's hallmarks is really bringing in this great set of reviews. I've used Amazon reviews when just to review a product, and then I bought it somewhere else because they do have a fairly comprehensive set of viewpoints. But let's talk about what this Vine program is all about. It's the cream of the crop. It's their best reviewers. Basically are invited to be a part of this Vine program. And really the idea here is that they're looking for the reviewers, not that are most prolific, but the people who have consistently had their reviews voted as being very useful. And for those Amazon users, and most of us probably are, you know that there's a way to say this review was helpful, whether it was a good review or a bad review. So that's what the Vine program is all about. Now, there's some perks to this. So basically, Amazon is letting Vine participants, they're allowed to pick a couple products every month, and it's not giving it away for free, but it's basically, from what we read, you get a product to use, and Amazon doesn't typically ask for it back. I think the idea is that you're asking for a product you want to review, you get it, you can write a great review, and Amazon isn't really a stickler for asking for that product back. So where this lies in the spectrum, it definitely is. It's not paying for fake information, and you don't have to write good reviews. They're looking for objective, well-written reviews. So I think it's really kind of, Adam, we're looking at this saying it's kind of where the internet is in general. You're never really sure what someone's angle is. This doesn't feel that bad, but they definitely are getting compensated, or in some ways getting free products to review in return for writing reviews. What biases does that create? I don't know.
Yeah, and so you're right. Let's make an important distinction here. We were talking about astroturfing a few months ago with the New York Attorney General's investigation into some SEO firms, and they actually got fined. And that's a very different issue. Those were flat out fake. So I do think you're right, Chad. This is in a sort of a different bucket, which is, well, there is some incentive to participate, but then there's freedom to have full editorial control. So you can argue, well, that creates an incentive and a bias, and that's bad. But then on the flip side, you can argue, if you're going to put in that much time, we also have laws about being paid for your work, and it seems like they need to. So I do feel like this one's sort of in the gray. I understand the concern. I mean, there are some estimates of fraudulent reviews that have been reported as high as 30% on some sites. And Gartner has a study out that estimates that by 2014, 1 in 10 social media reviews will be fake. So that's 10%. But as you point out, that's only 10%. And so maybe we do need to recognize this is where the internet is. AstroTurfing is absolutely wrong and bad because it's fake, it's erroneous, it's made up. But if you need to incent people to participate and then you give them full control and freedom to say whatever they're going to say, good or bad, that one strikes me as probably where it should be, because people need to be compensated. I think this is a tough issue, and I think ethics in advertising, it's been debated for 50 plus years, and with the massive shift we've seen in the last 10 years migrating to the internet and abandoning some very traditional media outlets, I think the debate's just heating up because people just don't understand how it works on the internet, and it's still relatively new. We'd be interested in your thoughts. Have you read a review and thought, wow, there's no way that's real, but it influenced your purchasing decision? Have you found creative ways to get reviews for your small business website that you feel is completely ethical but also helps your marketing? Share those stories with us. We'd like to talk about them and help sort this issue out. And as always, we're here every day with the Brown Bag. If you enjoyed this, we'd love for you to subscribe.